Well, this weekend's been a little uneventful as far as working on the boat, but that's basically due to being fall and leaves piling up and having to dig through documents to get them ready for a lawyer for a frivolous lawsuit. But anyway, entitled 70-year-old people really suck. So anyway, yesterday I came down here and they had a couple of chairs sitting down there on a cement pad that was below that railing, and I was like, oh crap, it came up a couple feet just from a previous rain we had. And so yesterday I grabbed the chairs. They were like under 8 inches of water over the cement pad. And then today, go down and see how much. It really looks like it's moving out there, and looks like it came up probably a good 3 to 4 feet. So it's kind of interesting. You look at it, I don't know how well this camera picks this up, but when it gets to moving that fast, you stand here and you look at it, and it's pretty good distance across there, but the water's moving so fast, and this is just a big wide spot in the river. You just think, man, that's a lot of water. But I was thinking about, well, if I had my jet boat out here, that'd be kind of cool. But you can kind of see the issue I'm going to have is, like, I think I'm going to have to pull that railing if I leave it down here this time of year. And there's kind of a cubby back in here. It's like, yeah, the boat could rest right there. You got the steps, and whatever you're tied off to, water's moving that way. Oh, there's a little fish right there just jumped. Yeah, we're getting ready to come into, this is middle of November. Salmon had been running, but the steelhead are coming up. I think season starts the middle of next month. So anyway, so it seems like there's a decent little spot maybe there to keep the boat. Just, as the water comes up and down, keeping it anywhere in here, that interferes with the steps, and the steps go all the way down. So I don't know. It's like it would definitely require coming down here every day and checking on it and making adjustments to leave it in the water, and if the boat got a bunch of water in it, I mean, that's where you're dealing with it. There's no clear bank to pull it up or anything like that. But after I get it all done and get some real time with it in the water, it'd be interesting to see. As long as it holds water out, probably wouldn't be too big a deal to keep it here. I assume this is a swell from rains we've had, and you can see how the fog just hang on top of the water. But down below us is the Burkhart Rapids, which in the summertime they're kind of tricky because the water flows between the rocks, and it's like pretty sharp S turns to make it through. A really steep ramp going down into some bigger stuff. And I was thinking, from videos I've seen, it should be doable. But then with this much water, a lot of that just gets washed out. So it might actually be easier, just to blow through it, because there'll be sections that are just washed out and you can just run right around stuff. So I don't know. I've never, been on the rapids through the winter, so to look at how they change. But, going upstream, I think it'd be pretty easy, all the way up to the dam. But anyway, it looks like UHMW is going in next weekend. I just got bogged down this weekend, and I'm probably going to be taking a day on my weekends just to do leaves and crap. They're about half down, they came down, crashing down after it started raining. Been dry, keeping the leaves all bundled, up there in the trees. But, I spent all day yesterday just doing leaves, and then today gutters are full again. So I'm not going to get on the roof and clean gutters again because it's just loose leaves. But you can see where, trees still got some in there. I think over half of them are down. But essentially I mulch them up and put them in the pile. So anyway, look for some UHMW installed next weekend. I think I'm all ready for it. I don't think there's really anything left to really get prepared. I just need to block the time out because there's so many holes to drill and tap and bolt in and all that. And then the sealant I'm using is supposed to be like the best, but it takes 48 hours to not be tacky at like 70 degrees. So, and then at like 70 degrees, it takes 7 days to cure. So I'm thinking, well, we're not going to get anywhere near 70 degrees. I think minimum was 50 or 60 degrees. And so my thought is I'll just put heat lamps or maybe an electric heater or something underneath it just to keep the room temp up slightly, but, kind of warm the hole, adequately for curing, just so it doesn't take forever. But before I quit working on it last week, I did kind of get this worked out to where these are tacked in, as you can see. And it was kind of tough to get, I just got them bent the same, and then figured out I'm putting them back in the same exact spots, but with this bend and also sloping down. And this is the old skid plate that I had underneath there that was angled downward off the back of the boat, and the idea was to be right there, which is obviously angled down. So this should be when planed off, this should be where the back of the boat is essentially in the water, and then this will protect the pump. Obviously this here is going to be on the outside of that, but I figured I don't think it really needs to come any further. And I even thought about cutting this back a little bit, getting it more up on that flat spot. So you can kind of see right there, it's even coming out past it a little bit. But it sits flat on it for 3-4 inches. So I don't know if I should cut this back or not. I think the whole point of it was just to keep anything that rolls off of here from hitting the pump itself. And this would be a pretty good job of deflecting, and then by the time it came off, I think you'd be in the clear, for that kind of a deal. Obviously, so I went ahead and routed out these edges at like a 45 degree, maybe a little more cleanup there to do, I don't know. But essentially that's how it's going to sit on there. And other than roughing up the surfaces, the UHMW seemed to kind of, it changed form a little bit when I had it strapped down for a few days, but it definitely doesn't like to just comply and stay. Those original bends weren't very sharp anyway. It'd be nice if it just formed to the hull of the boat, but it never did. I don't expect it to now, but I heated it up pretty good, strapped it down, and you can see how that left front side there's kind of pulled up, and so it kind of wants to take its own shape and not keep what it had. But it's pretty easy to pull down, especially with the straps and the wood. So anyway, that's where it sits. I think once this gets pulled down all the way, essentially the grate will be above this back piece, but in the front the UHMW will be above the grate. So you can kind of see it from here, I think. But it just didn't happen this weekend. I still got to go in the house and type some stuff up and get some documents put together, take to the lawyer tomorrow. So just want to make sure we had that done and not have to be working on that next week. My granddaughter visiting and spending the night. So anyway, this is a job for next weekend now. And I'm really looking forward to, as we get rain in the rivers, get the right amount of water into them, because like on a day like today, it's warm enough to take the boat out on the river, and I thought about that too. I'm like, well, for winter boating, my thought was just simply I've got an old dry suit. I thought about just putting on my fleece linings and my dry suit from my kayaking days, but I've only got one. And I think the rubbers on the feet and the arms and probably the neck need to be redone, which I'd probably send off. I don't know, it's possible I could do them myself, but I might just be able to send them off and get that done. That way, if you ever end up in the water with a dry suit, I don't know if anybody's done that with fleece linings, but you can be in some pretty cold water and not be a problem. So it's a little bit of work to get in and out of them, but definitely worth it. I mean, if you're working like in a kayak, you're sweating inside, and that's your biggest threat, is just getting wet inside from sweat. But in a jet boat, put on the dry suit, add whatever you want on top with your life jacket, helmet, whatever. So my thought is, on the winter stuff, dry suit would be the safest way to go in case you ended up in the water. But they're pretty warm. You got the fleece underneath. There's a total wind chill drop. No wind chill issue with the dry suit. And it's pretty lightweight. Mine's not like super thick. It's for kayaking. So, we used to run the American River up out of Sacramento in the wintertime, when the flows were up. And, water's in the 40s probably, sometimes the high 30s, depending on the time of year. So that's kind of my thought, is I want to get out on the river in the wintertime, because that's when the water flows are awesome, and you're going to have a lot better water. In the middle of summer, or end flows are so low, then you start losing your access. So the best boating time, in my opinion, is fall and spring probably. I don't know about December, January, probably is, with Christmas, New Year's, whatever else going on. I don't know how much you get out, but at least if I have it ready, I'm hoping to get some in this fall. We're just talking UHMW, finish up this back end, and then the only thing beyond that would be of any critical measure would maybe be the windshield, to keep spray off of there, possibly just the wind itself, which I don't know, probably going to take it out without the windshield and see how much is needed, and if it's needed, and I'll prioritize it. And of course, still got the engine cover and some insulation and different things. I mean, there'll be, it's kind of a long-term project when you look at just finishing everything off. It's kind of like, putting an addition onto the house, and you get down to the trim and all the little details. Finishing details sometimes take longer than construction. So, especially if you're using it, like, remodel your house, your kitchen, you remodel it to a point where, I can use it now, but you still got all those little issues to deal with that tend to take a long time because you're using the space. But anyway, I'll let you guys go for the moment, and it'll be a next weekend to get in here. If I get some time to work on stuff for, like this back end pieces this week, I'll do that. I got to block out a few hours for this job, so it's not happening today or after work through the week. So later, guys.